Well, hey guys, welcome to the Dreams Guide podcast. And this episode, we are talking with my friend Marcia. And Marcia has a dream, or possibly two. We'll see how much time we get for us to talk through. So tell us about your first dream. Like, when did you have it first?
I had it probably about 3 months ago,
Okay.
somewhere around there. And in my dream, I know I'm in a city, but the city looks a little bit gloomy, grayish. There are tall buildings, and I know I'm a part of a group. I just have this awareness that I'm
Okay.
part of a group. So somebody tells me we have to meet at this specific location. When I go there, I realize I'm riding a bicycle, and when I get there, I see four motorcycles, and I realize that the whole group is four people,
Okay.
and we're all supposed to meet at that place. So once I'm there, they give us these amazing motorcycles. It doesn't even look like a regular motorcycle. There's something about it. It looks like very powerful. And I don't have any idea about motorcycles, so I don't even know what powerful really means. But they look amazing. A lot of buttons, and it's big, and they give us these motorcycles and they send us to another place. Once I get in this motorcycle, what I didn't realize is that I just click a button, and now I'm in another place. It was like in seconds.
Okay.
And I'm in another place. Everybody went to another place. But the place that I was assigned to, it's snow. I'm assuming it's winter because I see snow everywhere. I see the mountains, and I see people on the floor like they're in need. They are, I think they are hurt, but I don't know if they're physically hurt or they're emotionally hurt but they are on the floor, and I get there just to help them, and that's it. I wake up.
All right. So in this dream, you know you're with a group of people, you're in a city, you can see the tall buildings, and you know that you're supposed to all gather at a particular place. And you're on a bicycle
I'm on a bicycle.
trying to get there. And when you get there, you realize there's these four motorcycles, there's four people that are part of the group, and each of these motorcycles are for each of those four people. And they're yours, and they're like amazing motorcycles. You just know that they're really good, really powerful. And so you get onto your motorcycle because you need to go to this next place, and you press a button. And when you press the button, it's like you're almost instantaneously there. You're just automatically in this other place.
Yes.
And this other place is an area that's covered with snow, kind of like it would be winter or something, but
Right.
covered with snow. And there are people there, and they're on the ground, and you know that they need healing of some kind. You're not sure if it's physical, emotional, but they need healing. They need help. And you're there to help them. And that's the end of the dream.
And that's the end of the dream.
All righty. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the piece I'm not 100% sure on is like the city. What's the city with the big, tall buildings?
Okay.
So I'll think about that while we're talking about the rest of it. So the bicycle and motorcycle, they're very similar. It's how you're getting to where you're going. It's what you're doing to get to where you're going. But the difference between a bicycle and a bicycle, it's your effort. You're working to get there. It's a lot slower, but you're working to get there. These motorcycles, that's power. You've been equipped with power to accomplish what you're called to do, to get to where you're going. And it's not just natural power, it's supernatural power. Because when you press the button, you're automatically there.
Yeah,
that's not a natural thing. It's not just like strong, and it's a little bit better than the other way of doing it, but it's a supernatural reality that you've been equipped with. And this equipping that you're receiving, this group that you're a part of that's gathered, is because you each have your own assignments, and your assignment is to help people that are in need of healing. And the Lord's going to put you in a situation or situations where people are going through a winter season, where it seems like things are colder, it's harder, things are a little bit more dead, and people are in need of healing. They're in need of strength. And you're going to strengthen them. You're going to bring that healing that they need. And that's the assignment that you've been given.
Oh, that's good. Because I was thinking about everything, trying to process the dream as well, but I didn't
Yeah.
caught about the winter.
Yeah. Well, I
So
was trying to think like
that makes
what could
sense.
that be? Because snow a lot of times it'll talk about righteousness because the white,
Right,
make
right,
your,
right.
white as snow. And it could also talk about favor, the favor of the Lord. But neither of those fit that circumstance.
Mm,
But the winter idea, the idea of a winter season where things are dead, it just feels like everything's dormant. There's not as much going on. Um, that just fits that dream a lot better.
that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Cool. And any questions on that?
No, it kind of makes sense because I remember on the dream with the bicycle, I was getting tired going up and down,
Yeah.
and getting into the motorcycle. I was expecting to actually ride a motorcycle. What I was not expecting is what the transportation was
Yeah.
going to be immediately. So
Yeah.
in a few seconds. So that makes sense.
That's
Absolutely. It's a
awesome.
super, meaning it's not me.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
That's really cool.
Now, can you think about just like, well, what's going on in your life? Like, can you see an area where you've been trying really hard and you're now seeing, like, have you gotten to the motorcycle yet? Are you starting to see that? Or is that still something that's in the future?
No, I definitely can see that. And I know it sounds silly, but I used to watch, I still watch Sid Roth, The
Yeah.
Supernatural.
Yeah.
And I used to watch all the shows all the time, and I used to pray. But the only thing that comes to my mind is the Streams Ministry, because I just started back in August when I start coming here.
Yeah.
And suddenly the visions, the pictures are more frequent.
Mm.
And now I'm having more understanding. And something really cool that actually happened last week is that in my church, we have a new pastor, and he's more pro Holy Spirit and words of wisdom, things like that. And he asked us. I'm part of the prayer group. He asked us to come and pray for the people, and I felt this boldness to, what? I start praying for people, but then I said, I see this, I see that,
Come
everything
on.
was right on time, on the target.
Wow.
3 different people. I
That's
never had so
amazing.
many. So it's the frequency, it's the accuracy, is
Yeah.
the I guess now I feel like I have more tools to really understand, and not making about me, but
Yeah.
putting myself on the side and really see the person, or how God sees the person. It was
Yeah.
amazing because they 3 of them were like crying. It was priceless.
That's
Absolutely priceless.
awesome. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
So that will make sense, is what I'm learning here.
Very good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, do you want to share another dream?
Yeah. This was a dream. Well, this was more like a vision, though.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm in the desert. I'm looking at the desert, and I see several horses, black horses, and the people that are riding are dressed in black, and they're coming this way, and the sand is all over, because at some points you don't see them clearly because of the sand.
Yeah.
And then I see this person like dressed with a Jedi, the robe,
Yeah,
how do you
okay.
call it?
Yeah.
He's on one knee and he's praying, but instead of looking at the enemy, he's just looking this way straight. And I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at the enemy, or what I know that is the enemy, and I'm like, these people are going to destroy him. So I go towards that person. I have to turn around to see his face because he's praying, and the robe is covering his head, and it's me. And it's me. And then I wake up. Yeah.
Okay, so in this dream, you're in this desert kind of landscape, and you see this group of people on black horses, and they're wearing black, and you
Yes.
know they're enemy, you know that they're dangerous,
Yes.
and they're riding this direction, and you can see this person that's kind of like in a Jedi cloak,
Right.
robe,
Yes.
and they're kneeling and their heads down, but they're facing the opposite direction where they're not seeing the enemy coming at them at all.
Yes. Right. He's kneeling or she's kneeling, and that person knows, but it's like doesn't care. He's just praying,
Just
looking
praying.
at a different direction. And
Okay, so they knew that they were coming, but it's just that wasn't. And then, but you felt like you needed to warn them.
yes,
And-
yes, because when I'm looking at it, you know, I'm thinking there's no way he doesn't know. I mean, because it's a bunch of them,
Right.
and you hear the horses and but at the same time, I'm getting exasperated because this person is doing absolutely nothing
Yeah.
and he's just praying. So he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And that's when I come in, trying to warn him or
Yes.
hey, do something. And that's when
And
I
you
see my
realize it's
face.
actually
Yes,
you.
yeah, it's
Yeah. This is fun.
it's
This
fun.
this it's really fun because it's like these. So we've done some teaching on the difference between soul, spirit, and body. Right? We're three parts. We are spirit, we are soul, we are body. 1 Thessalonians 5:23. And so what you're recognizing in this is two different responses that you have. It's both you, but two different responses. Your spirit and your ability just to trust, like that Jedi, the idea of being able to sense what's going on. There's a calm, not getting upset, and just that ability to stay in that in the midst of the situation. And then your soul's response of, wait a second, you need to do something, like this is the enemy, this is an attack, you've got to fix it. And realizing that you can actually be at rest in the middle
Wow.
of the enemy's attack. And you've developed spiritually more than what you realize. And even though there's a fight, your spirit is at rest, even when your soul is anxious about what's going on. And it's letting you know that you've grown a lot more than what you realize.
Wow. I actually had that dream when I was 23.
Wow.
I barely accepted Christ, and I
Okay.
was a baby Christian back then.
Then that's a promise of where you're going.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
That's really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I love that picture though. That ability to stay calm,
Wow.
even though no, wait a second, the enemy, but no, it's okay. I'm just going to pray. I can trust. I don't have to be anxious. I don't have to make anything happen. And seeing that potential, that's who you really are.
Wow.
That's who you really are. That's who God's called you to be.
That's amazing, especially back then.
Yes.
When I was 23.
Right.
If
Which
it's
was
still,
probably not where
I
you
was
were at,
not
right?
at all. I was all emotional about everything. And it's still, it could be a challenge. But now I'm 45. Now I think I can start to see that
Yeah.
part of me that I can trust.
Yeah.
But it's been a while.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's
Back then,
awesome.
because back then I was still, I was a believer, but still I wasn't healed and things like that.
Yeah.
So I was still messing around and things like that.
Wow.
So at that point, having that dream, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, I love how God does that because he'll give us these dreams and we don't even necessarily understand them, but they get deposited in our spirit and it starts to form something that we don't even know that's being formed. And so you're much more like that now than you were there. And you're just now understanding what the dream means. Like the dream is already being fulfilled, even though you didn't understand it,
Wow.
because God deposited something in your spirit. And sometimes we think that if we don't understand it, then the dream is not going to have its effect. And there are times when dreams, like there's a response that we get to do, and there's, we need to seek after that understanding. But we don't have that mindset. It's like, well, if I don't understand it, it didn't do any good. There's actually, it's doing something deeper than what we realize, than what happens even through the understanding.
Wow. That's amazing because now think about it. Now that I'm thinking about it, the way you explain it, it's just so, it describes his faithfulness.
Yeah.
When I was in a place where I was totally the opposite,
Yeah.
his faithfulness was going to take me wherever he was going to take me,
Yeah.
regardless of my understanding or my behavior, even back then, it was the journey.
Yeah.
And wow, that's amazing. I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
I love God's ways.
Yes.
He's beautiful.
He's so faithful, even when we
Yeah.
are not, because I wasn't that faithful back then.
Come on.
What a
That's
blessing.
so good. Thank you so much for sharing your dreams.
thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, of course. Of
That's
course.
awesome.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us for this episode of The Dreams Guy. We will see you next time.